Okay, let's dive right in. We're seeing a massive shift happening inside our public sector agencies. A whole generation of seasoned experts is heading into retirement, and this new wave of digital natives, Millennials and Gen Z, they're stepping up. But for them, technology isn't just some utility. It's the very air they breathe at work. It's the environment where they collaborate and get things done. And that changes everything.
And this quote, it just nails it. For this new generation of public servants, the digital workspace is where the culture happens. It's where ideas spark, where teams connect, and where the mission really comes to life. It's not just an add-on, it's the whole ecosystem.
So, as a leader in the public sector, this is the big question you've got to ask yourself. Are the tools you're providing creating an environment that actually attracts and keeps the best people? Or are they, kind of getting in the way? Because today, this isn't just an IT decision anymore. It's a core strategic one.
And that brings us to this real friction point. You've got a generation that grew up with technology that's seamless, intuitive, and just works. And they're clashing with legacy systems that can feel clunky, slow, and, let's be honest, pretty frustrating. This conflict is what turns the choice of your productivity suite into a really high-stakes decision about the future of your agency.
I want you to think of it like this. Your productivity suite isn't just for sending emails or writing documents. Not anymore. It's the central nervous system for your entire team. It dictates how they work together, how they innovate, and frankly, how they feel about their jobs. It really is the operating system for your culture.
Okay, so let's shift gears and talk about one of the biggest game changers out there right now, artificial intelligence. I mean, everybody's talking about AI, but here's the thing. Not all AI is created equal, especially when it comes to the complex work being done in government. This creates what we call the AI value gap.
And here's the key difference you need to understand. Some systems just kind of bolt on AI features to an old framework. It's like putting a new GPS in a 20-year-old car. But other systems are built from the ground up with AI at their very core. One's a feature, the other is a foundational advantage that completely changes how work gets done.
So what does that foundational approach actually look like in the real world? Well, according to a 2024 study by the Hypothesis Group, a whopping 82% of Google Workspace users say that its AI features bring tangible, real-world value to their work.
Now here's where the data gets really telling. You put that 82% for Workspace up against just 66% for Microsoft 365 users. That's a pretty significant gap in how valuable people find these tools. It really tells a story about which platform is making AI genuinely useful.
But let's get even more specific. This isn't just about, writing emails a little faster. We're talking about the core functions, the heavy lifting that actually drives an agency's mission forward. Let's see how this plays out. For deep research, which is critical in almost any agency, Workspace users report a massive 22-point advantage. Just imagine for a second what your teams could do if their tools made them that much better at finding critical information.
And we see a similar story when it comes to organizing data. Here, Workspace has a 21-point advantage. This is all about turning mountains of raw information into insights you can actually use, and doing it way more efficiently.
And finally, with task automation, it's a 20-point lead. Now, when you pull all of this together, these aren't just numbers on a chart. They represent a huge shift in efficiency. What it all adds up to is this. Your people are spending less time on tedious administrative work and more time focused on the high-value tasks that serve the public.
Now, of course, I know what you're thinking. For any government CTO, there are two non-negotiables: security and cost. Modernization has to deliver on both. So how do these modern platforms actually stack up?
Well, the data here might just surprise you. The study found that 33%, a third of Google Workspace users, reported a decrease in security incidents over the last couple of years. Compare that to only 22% for Microsoft users. This really challenges that old assumption that the legacy choice is always the safer one.
So why the big difference?
Well, the explanation is pretty simple, but it's profound. Google Workspace was literally born in the cloud. Its entire security architecture was designed for the modern web from day one. It wasn't an on-premise system that was later retrofitted for the cloud, which can often create all sorts of complex and vulnerable gaps.
And that architectural difference also helps agencies get away from what you might call the legacy tax. All those hidden operational costs of constantly patching, maintaining, and trying to secure older systems. It's a tax you pay not just with your budget, but with your IT team's incredibly valuable time.
And the numbers on this are crystal clear. 77% of Workspace users report lower IT management costs, and there's a 15-point lead when it comes to cutting down time spent on just routine maintenance. That's real budget and real time that you can redirect from just keeping the lights on to actually driving innovation.
Okay, this brings us to what might be the most critical piece of the puzzle: people. In today's market, it's a battle to attract and keep the best talent. And believe it or not, your tools are one of your most powerful weapons in that fight.
And this number, this one is the real kicker. The study found an incredible 18 percentage point gap in employee retention favorability for agencies using Google Workspace. That is huge. It means employees in a modern tech environment are significantly more likely to want to stay.
And this data here shows us why. The tools you use send a very clear message. Organizations using Workspace are just seen as more innovative and more prepared for the future. So when a top recruit sees your seamless, collaborative environment, it tells them, hey, this is a place where I can actually do my best work.
So the data is pretty compelling. But for any agency leader, I get it, the big question is always, how? How do you make this kind of massive leap from a legacy system without disrupting your entire mission?
Well, the key is you don't do it alone. You find an expert partner. A premier partner like Daston provides a clear 3-step path. First, they map the new tools to your specific compliance needs, like FedRAMP. Then, they handle a seamless migration of all your data. And crucially, they help with the change management, making sure your people are empowered to use these new tools to their fullest potential. It turns a daunting project into a manageable, strategic leap forward.
So we end right back where we started. This choice, the choice of a productivity suite, is no longer just about IT. It's a statement about your agency's values, your vision for the future, and your commitment to your people. So, the crucial question is, if your tools are your culture, what message are you sending to the next generation of public service leaders?